All right, good morning. Sharing your screen so we can get started. We'll start on our first video this morning. Also, before we jump in, there's a little review from yesterday. I did intro you into a facial practical, and we're going to be focusing on those things. Of course, we're in an apprenticeship cosmetology program, which really does not require in-house training, but we have to prepare you for, I feel like we need to prepare you for the salon. And the only way we could do that is to ensure that you have some type of hands-on training. And so in reference to preparing for Stay Board and Stay Board Focused, we're really concentrated on styles. So one of the main things I wanted to teach you was the facial, because you do have the facial on the Stay Board. So I wanted to introduce you to the different components of the facial. We will be working on that, and then we will tailor it down to the Stay Board. I want to go over some form of Stay Board every Wednesday. Okay, guys? So every Wednesday for at least half the morning, or at least introduction in the morning, we'll move into some Stay Board prep. Or it'll be the afternoon after break. We'll go into the Stay Board prep. Okay, so I just want to let you know you'll see more, and you'll see it weekly. And it won't be an all-day thing, so pretty much like a half a day. But we do want to sharpen those skills and keep you active and working while you're there for the opportunity you are in the building. Okay, so just a reflection on that. And I think you guys did really good being your first time. And we will continue to build upon that. Okay. And so definitely I was excited about working with you personally yesterday. And we're going to continue to work with Miss Anthony and the other students as well. So next Wednesday, stay tuned. We'll be refreshing that facial and moving on to the another part of the Stay Board as it relates to cosmetology. So we'll have a Stay Board Wednesdays every Wednesday. Okay. So hold on, guys. I'm prepared to share the screen. It is now 10:11. We can begin class. So hold on. I hope you guys have had an amazing evening. And we're back again. Back again. All right. So we are in chapter 8. And hair and scalp disorders and diseases. We're going to be brief today. We are kind of in the middle, preparing to close out. We're going to watch a video, and then we're going to talk about some of the scalp disorders and diseases. Okay, so stay tuned. Let me make sure our audio is on.
When hair needs special care, hair is an emotional thing. It's part of who we are. It's one of the first things other people notice. That's why an uneven cut, wrong color, or bad hair day can really mess with our mojo. Now throw in hair disorders. Abnormalities we're either born with or get after overprocessing. Common and not so common, they're a sensitive issue. The good news? You have the power to spot these disorders and to treat them or prevent more damage. In a salon, you might run into any one of 9 disorders. First, we're all familiar with split ends or trichoptilosis. It starts as a small crack in the cuticle that deepens into the cortex. Broken hair or abraded hair comes from harsh chemicals or messing with wet hair too much. You can prevent both by limiting chemicals or friction, or a protein treatment can harden the cuticle and strengthen the hair. But you can't treat them once they're split. The ends need to be cut. Another familiar one, gray or white hair, is called canides and happens when hair loses its pigment. It can appear at any stage in life, including at birth. Gray or white hair can get dry. Use moisturizing shampoos and conditioners to help. And you don't have to hide the gray. Some people love it. Others don't want to color every 4 to 6 weeks. A clear glaze can add shine instead. Matted hair, or pilica polonica, is tangled so badly by overprocessing or repeated backcombing it can't be separated. You can strengthen hair with a protein treatment, but once it's matted, you've got to cut. Knotted hair, or trichorexis nodosa, is broken hair that gets knotted up with other strands. Hair may appear patchy and break off easily at the scalp or ends. Beaded hair, monolithrix, gives the strands a bamboo-like look and can cause sparse hair growth. Then there's brittle hair, or fragilitis cranium, which is pretty darn severe. The hair lacks protein and may split anywhere along the strand. It also has a hard time growing and causes patches at the scalp. Knotted, beaded, and brittle hair can be genetic or just angered by overprocessing. So blot wet hair with a towel, don't rub. Use moisturizing conditioners or protein treatments. Suggest catching Z's on a satin pillowcase. Next, genetic abnormal hair growth on an area of the body is called hypertrichosis. You can tweeze or wax in mild cases. Suggest laser and electrolysis for more severe cases. Finally, ringed hair, or pili annulati, produces spangled bands of light and dark on the strand. It runs in families. Ringed hair is rare to see, but if you do, know that it can break. Be gentle with it. That's it, 9 disorders. Once you can spot them, you can do the right thing for your guest. Because it doesn't matter what head of hair sits down in your chair, it's your job to use your magic to get their mojo working again.
All right. Do you guys need me to replay this? Because now we're getting ready to go into a quiz. Do you need me to replay this, or are you ready for the quiz? Welcome, Teresa.
You can replay it.
Okay. I thought I saw Teresa come in. Oh, yeah, she's here. All right, just in time. We're getting ready to play this video on when hair needs special care, and then we're going to jump into a quiz. So I want you guys to really check it out and just pay attention to some of the things that that benefit the issues that are going on with the hair. All right, here we go, just for the replay.
When hair needs special care, hair is an emotional thing. It's part of who we are. It's one of the first things other people notice. That's why an uneven cut, wrong color, or bad hair day can really mess with our mojo. Now throw in hair disorders. Abnormalities we're either born with or get after overprocessing. Common and not so common, they're a sensitive issue. The good news? You have the power to spot these disorders and to treat them or prevent more damage. In a salon, you might run into any one of 9 disorders. First, we're all familiar with split ends, or trichoptilosis. It starts as a small crack in the cuticle that deepens into the cortex. Broken hair or abraded hair comes from harsh chemicals or messing with wet hair too much. You can prevent both by limiting chemicals or friction, or a protein treatment can harden the cuticle and strengthen the hair. But you can't treat them once they're split. The ends need to be cut. Another familiar one, gray or white hair, is called canides and happens when hair loses its pigment. It can appear at any stage in life, including at birth. Gray or white hair can get dry. Use moisturizing shampoos and conditioners to help. And you don't have to hide the gray. Some people love it. Others don't want to color every 4 to 6 weeks. A clear glaze can add shine instead. Matted hair, or pilica polonica, is tangled so badly by overprocessing or repeated backcombing it can't be separated. You can strengthen hair with a protein treatment, but once it's matted, you've got to cut. Knotted hair, or trichorexis nodosa, is broken hair that gets knotted up with other strands. Hair may appear patchy and break off easily at the scalp or ends. Beaded hair, monolithrix, gives the strands a bamboo-like look and can cause sparse hair growth. Then there's brittle hair, or fragilitis cranium, which is pretty darn severe. The hair lacks protein and may split anywhere along the strand. It also has a hard time growing and causes patches at the scalp. Knotted, beaded, and brittle hair can be genetic or just angered by overprocessing. So blot wet hair with a towel, don't rub. Use moisturizing conditioners or protein treatments. Suggest catching Z's on a satin pillowcase. Next, genetic abnormal hair growth on an area of the body is called hypertrichosis. You can tweeze or wax in mild cases. Suggest laser and electrolysis for more severe cases. Finally, ringed hair, or pili annulati, produces spangled bands of light and dark on the strand. It runs in families. Ringed hair is rare to see, but if you do, know that it can break. Be gentle with it. That's it, 9 disorders. Once you can spot them, you can do the right thing for your guest. Because it doesn't matter what head of hair sits down in your chair, it's your job to use your magic to get their mojo working again.
All right. All right, so now that we looked at the special needs for our hair, we got to get it going. Let's see what we have next. All right, let's look at our crossword puzzle. We got a cross and we got down. All right. We should have our terms. Do you have your terms? Let's see, do I want to do this one? Let's do the quiz. All right, so we got 2 questions, but our primary, here's the word bank, trichoptilosis, niches, fragilistic cranium, ringed hair, manila threads, hirsutism, trichorexis nodosa, and hypertrichosis. All right. It says hair dis, and you guys can unmute or join the chat. You guys will be doing the answering. Hair disorders take many forms. Blank is the technical term for gray or white hair, whether congenital, acquired, or variety, characterized by alternating bands of gray and pigmented hair throughout the length of the strand. So let's look at these 2. They are connected. Blank is the technical term for gray or white hair, whether congenital or acquired. What is that?
I would say Kanishis.
Yeah, well, let me put it in, see what we got. Somebody prepare to take the next one. Variety, characterized by alternating bands of gray and pigmented hair throughout the length of the hair string, which is called, you got gray and pigmented strands throughout the length. Okay. They said it was rare in the video. What was it, y'all? Are you in the comments? We got Kanishis. This is another type of, let's read. It's characterized by alternating bands of gray and pigmented hair throughout the length of the strand. Trichoptilosis, fragilistic cranium, ringed hair, manila threads, hirsutism, or trichorexis nodosa, or hypertrichosis. And let me tell you, trichoptilosis, manila threads, trichorexis nodosa, and hypertrichosis are all about split and brittle ends. Okay, this question is asking about the color of the hair. What do you think it is?
Ringed hair.
Okay. Blank is the growth of terminal hair on a woman's body in areas that typically do not have terminal hair, such as the upper lip, chin, and cheeks, and chest. Okay? Blank is the growth of terminal hair on a woman's body in areas that typically do not have terminal hair. Okay?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's
Yeah.
the HIR.
Yes. Circeism. Okay. And when the hair grows longer or thicker than usual, it is called blank. Longer or thicker. When we see the word hyper, that means a lot of something. Okay? Trichophtalosis, fragilissus cranium, manila threads, trichorexis nodosa all relate to split or broken ends, brittle hair. Everybody gets that, right? Hypertrichosis, and this is something I've learned in high school in over at Fraser High and Treasonville Tech. That was my foundation of learning this. And when I tell you, and I'm telling you that to say these are the basics, the foundation of cosmetology. So whereas I may have been 16 years old, 17 years old, 30 years later, I'm still talking about hypertrichosis. So that foundation never goes anywhere. And these are the basics. It doesn't change. They're the foundation for where you're going. So I never will forget. You'll always have a ring. You may have to say, let me see the book again because that sounds familiar. But once you learn you learn the terminology, you'll forever have this in your memory bank in your brain. Let's go to the next one. And all of that is correct. So if you answered any of these, good job, good job, good job. The key is making sure you know the difference between all of these. And as I stated before, your exam, any test that you're going to take, you have to understand the terminology. So I'm going to always stress a person could not be a good studier. You don't study well at all. I'm just saying, it could be someone who does not study well at all, but they study their terms. They do better with flashcards. That will be the person to pass the test because they have understood what each word means, or they have in their mind have something that relates to it. And so, if let's try something. Teresa gave this answer, Kanishis. Give me one word that you would never forget this. One word that brings this answer to memory. Give me one word that when you
In
think of
in Spanish, we say ganas, which is like CANA, which means gray hair. So that's why
mm.
Kanishis, I can remember Gana Kanishis. It's almost spelled similar.
All right, so give us a Spanish lesson today. You said Ghana.
Yeah, Gana, CANA.
I'm gonna be calling everybody like, oh, look at that Ghana. I'm gonna be saying that all day today, right? Right, right. Okay, ringed hair. Who said ringed hair? Was it Tara? Or was
I
it India?
did.
Okay, Tara. Give me one word. Think about it. What, when you see ringed hair again, what would be that one thing that would come to mind?
I would say bands or gray hair, like a ring. I would say is a band. So
Great. Awesome. 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 Okay, and I'm not sure who did Hirsutism. May have been Tara. I thought I heard Tara's voice again. When we hear this word or see the word, we're building on our pronunciation. Hirsutism as a group, what would you think about when you hear that word or see that word? When you hear this word or see this word, okay? Um, when I hear this word or see this word, I think of overgrowth. I think of mustache. I think of hair on a woman that you would normally find on a man. When if I said hair on a woman that you would normally find on a man, where would that hair be, y'all?
On the chin or like upper lip.
You got it. You got it. Mustache, beard, side, long sideburn, pork chop. Um, that's what I would think of when when I see hirsutism. First thing I would say would be an overgrowth of hair that is usually found on a man, but is now coming up on a woman. I think about that. That's how I remember that. And so it's not supposed to be there. All right. It's not supposed to be there. And if you underline the word terminal hair, if it's on the face, it has pigment and it's long and stronger. It's not supposed to be there. Okay. The only thing on the face is vellus hair, which should have no pigment. Okay. And so now that you see a woman that may have a tint of a mustache, she may have a form of hirsutism because that is not supposed to be there. All right. It's just genetically not supposed to be there. So that tells me there's maybe a hormone endocrine problem. There may be a medication where there's a side effect or something of that nature. Um, and then hypertrichosis. When you hear hypertrichosis, what do you think about? Again, hair that is growing longer and stronger. Okay. Longer and stronger and thicker. Hypertrichosis. When you think of the word hyper, that means an overgrowth as well. If you see the word super and if you see the word hyper when it relates to hair, that is a overgrowth, an extreme overgrowth. All right. Let's continue to the next one. Here's the word bank. Trichophtalosis, Knishes, Fragilissus cranium, ringed hair, manila threads, hirsutism, Trichorexis nodosa, and hypertrichosis. Same terms, different question. Split ends or blank cannot be repaired. Split ends or blank cannot be repaired. Ooh, this is a good one. Cannot be repaired. What do you guys think? Let me read the next one. Maybe we'll read through them and then go back and fill it in. The technical term for brittle hair is blank. Two hair disorders that feature brittle hair are beaded hair or blank, and knotted hair or blank. So with this saying, split ends cannot be repaired. Let's pull out those ones about split ends. Technical term for brittle hair. Two hair disorders that feature brittle hair are beaded hair or blanks and knotted hair or blanks. So what's another term for beaded hair and what's another term for knotted hair? Maybe you can do those two first. What's another term for beaded hair? Saw the video twice.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I believe it's the first word in the word bank. Try,
For beaded hair,
tricode. I believe
trichoptilosis.
that that
Do y'all agree?
the term for brittle hair is.
I can't hear you. Knotted hair. Let's fill in knotted hair first. Which one of these terms said knots? We talked about it earlier. Knotted hair. What's another term? Which one of these is another term for knotted hair?
The trichorexis.
Mm-hmm. Trichorexis nodosia. All right. So we know that's knotted hair. It's still a process of elimination. Kanishis, we're not talking about no gray hair, so we can X this one out, right? We're not talking about ring hair. We could X this one out. So those two have to do with gray hair. And we're not talking about hirsutism. Okay. And we're not talking about hypertrichosis. Those were our choices for the previous question. So the only options we have is trichorexis, trichoptilosis, fragilissus cranium, manila threads, and trichorexis nodosa. All right. Split ends or blank cannot be repaired. The technical term for brittle hair is blank. All right. I'm going to give you an option. Split ends or trichoptilosis or manila threads. Split ends or trichoptilosis or manila threads. Which one is it? Cannot be repaired. The technical term for brittle hair is blank. Two hair disorders that feature brittle hair are beaded hair or blank and knotted hair or trichorexis nodosa. Okay, what are we filling in?
The technical term for brittle hair is fragilistus.
Oh, you got it. Come on.
Cranium,
Fabulous. Premium.
cranium.
That's it. And here's the thing. If I could not pronounce it, because it'll be like that for a while. If I could not pronounce it, y'all, I remembered how the word looked. And based on how it looked, I said, you know what? I'm going to remember this word and I'm going to study this word. This word means blank, So even if I couldn't say it, I could spell it. I was always like, look, I'm going to get this right. All right, so we got those two plugged in. We need to come back up here. Split ends or blank. It's either going to be trichoptilosis or manila threads. Which one is it?
Trichoptilosis.
Trichoptilosis. Let me put that in right here. So the last one, this one here, must be. All right. Let's see. Partially correct. So it should be trichoptilosis, fragilissus cranium, manila threads, and then Trichorexis nodosa. So this one, let's take a picture. We need, these are the 4 terms you guys need to review. If we know our terms, we know everything else. Okay, if we know our terms, we know everything else. All right, so let's see what else we got. Made a 75. Okay, made a 75. Let's see what else we got going on. Return to assessment. All right, let's look at scalp disorders. Let's take notes, see how long it is.
Don't let scalp disorders bug you. Lumps and bumps, skin tags shaped like cauliflower. Even healthy scalps have issues. Most are nothing no matter how weird they look. They're like moles, though no one would ever call them beauty marks. But sometimes you'll come across things that are not okay, which is what you're looking for when analyzing a scalp. Like lice, little buggers that get you scratching just thinking about them. Or dandruff. It's harmless, sure, but still a sticky mess of dead skin and grease. Let's face it, no one wants to go near this stuff, but hang out at a salon long enough and you probably will. And it's important you don't freak out when you do. Okay, you say, I won't freak out, but what do I do? Good question. If you're facing something contagious, you need to stop the service without making a fuss. Why? We all get the willies just hearing about this stuff. Staying calm allows any guest who has these creepy crawlers to leave without embarrassment and prevents others from panicking. Let's walk through 4 common problems. 3 of them, lice, scabies, and ringworm, pass between people, which means you need to stop the service. For the 4th, dandruff, you just need to deal with it. No matter what, it's not your job to make a diagnosis. Doctors do that. Your job is just to tell your guest what you see. Let's start with the easy stuff. White flakes falling like snow is often called dandruff, but it's usually dry scalp. And dry scalp is just that, flaky skin. It's common, especially in winter. Dandruff, or pityriasis, is different. A fungus called Malassezia is the culprit here. It lives on all of us, usually without a problem. But when it grows out of control, it creates a waxy mix of skin cells and oil. It's sticky, so it usually stays on the scalp. Now, the baddies you can't deal with. Lice, or pediculosis capitis, aren't dangerous because they don't carry disease, but they're seriously annoying and spread easily. Adult lice bugs feed on blood, leaving behind itchy scabs. Lice are grayish-white and about the size of sesame seeds, and where they are, you'll find eggs or nits clinging to hair. Scabies is a rash that looks like unpopped pimples. It's caused by tiny itch mites, so tiny we can't see them. But they're a big problem. They burrow into skin where they live and lay eggs. Tinea is the medical term for a fungus that afflicts us from head, ringworm, to toe, athlete's foot, and places in between. 2 types infect scalps, Tinea capitis and Tinea favosa. Tinea capitis creates scaly patches that can cause hair to fall out or break into stubble. Tinea favosa produces yellow crusts called scugula. You'll smell it because scugula are stinky, pus-filled rashes. Healthy hair can't grow on an unhealthy scalp. Knowing the difference between dandruff and off-limits, lice, scabies, and ringworm, keeps you and your guests from bugging out.
Has anyone come in contact with any of those scalp disorders? They said, don't let scalp disorders bug you. Have anybody come in contact with those scalp disorders before? Or known someone to come in contact with them? They mention lights and scabies and all kinds of things. All right. And so we have to be very, very careful. Replaying before we go into our study one more time. Take note.
Don't let scalp disorders bug you. Lumps and bumps, skin tags shaped like cauliflower, even healthy scalps have issues. Most are nothing no matter how weird they look. They're like moles, though no one would ever call them beauty marks. But sometimes you'll come across things that are not okay, which is what you're looking for when analyzing a scalp. Like lice, little buggers that get you scratching just thinking about them. Or dandruff. It's harmless, sure, but still a sticky mess of dead skin and grease. Let's face it, no one wants to go near this stuff, but hang out at a salon long enough and you probably will. And it's important you don't freak out when you do. Okay, you say, I won't freak out, but what do I do? Good question. If you're facing something contagious, you need to stop the service without making a fuss. Why? We all get the willies just hearing about this stuff. Staying calm allows any guest who has these creepy crawlers to leave without embarrassment and prevents others from panicking. Let's walk through 4 common problems. 3 of them, lice, scabies, and ringworm, pass between people, which means you need to stop the service. For the 4th, dandruff, you just need to deal with it. No matter what, it's not your job to make a diagnosis. Doctors do that. Your job is just to tell your guest what you see. Let's start with the easy stuff. White flakes falling like snow is often called dandruff, but it's usually dry scalp. And dry scalp is just that, flaky skin. It's common, especially in winter. Dandruff, or pityriasis, is different. A fungus called Malassezia is the culprit here. It lives on all of us, usually without a problem. But when it grows out of control, it creates a waxy mix of skin cells and oil. It's sticky, so it usually stays on the scalp. Now, the baddies you can't deal with. Lice, or pediculosis capitis, aren't dangerous because they don't carry disease, but they're seriously annoying and spread easily. Adult lice bugs feed on blood, leaving behind itchy scabs. Lice are grayish-white and about the size of sesame seeds, and where they are, you'll find eggs or nits clinging to hair. Scabies is a rash that looks like unpopped pimples. It's caused by tiny itch mites, so tiny we can't see them. But they're a big problem. They burrow into skin where they live and lay eggs. Tinea is the medical term for a fungus that afflicts us from head, ringworm, to toe, athlete's foot, and places in between. 2 types infect scalps, Tinea capitis and Tinea favosa. Tinea capitis creates scaly patches that can cause hair to fall out or break into stubble. Tinea favosa produces yellow crusts called scugula. You'll smell it because scugula are stinky, pus-filled rashes. Healthy hair can't grow on an unhealthy scalp. Knowing the difference between dandruff and off-limits, lice, scabies, and ringworm, keeps you and your guests from bugging out.
All right. That was really cool. Really cool video to understand. Let's take our quiz. Which of the following 3 images best represents Tinea favosa? And it says why. Tinea favosa, Tinea ringworm, and why? Which one, A, B, or C? Which one looks like wingworm?
I think C.
What was that other? Did you guys remember saying Tinea favosa, and it was Tinea capitis? Did anyone remember the difference between the 2? Somebody look up Tinea favosa.
One was like brittle and the other one was the pus filled one.
Okay. So which one of these? We got an answer for C. Is everybody good with C? When it says brittle, B is dandruff. That looks like it's yellow, scutula. Okay. Let me see. See? Okay. We'll go back and check that one. Return to assessment. All right, we have scutula, tinea, tina furvosa. So what we got to do, we got to put the terms in the block. Okay, we got 2 questions. It says match the definition related to fungal scalp infections within the correct term. Specific type of ringworm, which is also called honeycomb ringworm. Broad technical term for ringworm, or dry yellow crust on the scalp that have a distinctive odor. All right, so which one? Let's start at the bottom. Dry yellow crust on the scalp that have a distinctive odor. What is that? Spell it if you can't pronounce it.
The tinea furvosa.
Now this is a crust. Dry yellow crust on the scalp that have a distinctive odor. The reason why I don't think it's tinea furvosa because look at the number 1, specific type of wingworm, which is also called honeycomb wingworm. And then when you look here, broad technical term for wingworm. Anybody? Teresia, India, Terica? Think about the video.
We're answering the first one.
Either one.
Specific-
Either
Okay.
one. Which one you want? Which one you're comfortable with? I just didn't think number 3 was tinea furvosa. But if you want me to put that there, I will. But I am not. I want you to reevaluate all 3 of them before you select that as an answer for number 3.
Oh, okay. I believe the third one is the first word. Scoop to.
Scutula.
Scooptula.
I agree. So, Tara, India, or Teresa, give me another one.
Broad technical term for wingworm. I would say tinea.
Okay. And so that makes this one.
The first. Mhm.
Okay, so let's see. That's correct. All right. So this just studying our terminology. That's all. Dry yellow crust. I always think of that as scutula. And it has an odor. Okay, so I always think it's not actually a ringworm. It is the product of the ringworm. It is a dry yellow. It's a crust. And it sounds like crust too, scutula. Okay, Pacific type of wingworm, just broad. Also honeycomb wingworm, tinea furvosa. We've seen tinea furvosa before, so y'all, let's not forget that it is a wingworm, but it's also called a honeycomb ringworm. Broad technical term for wingworm, that would be tinea. And the video said it was ringworm from the head to the toe. Okay, so tinea capitis for the head. What did they call it for the toe, for the feet? And somebody got ringworm of the feet.
I believe it's Atlas foot.
Yep. And in between, the video said in between.
Jock itch.
There you go. Okay.
I know those because I'm a nail tech,
There you go. I knew you should have done it. You see everything probably. Oh wow. Okay, so here's 4. Welcome, Pooja. Welcome to the class.
Hi,
All right.
ma'am.
Hi. So here's 4 You have pediculosis capitis simplex. Now, all of this
Mm-hmm.
is about dandruff, everybody.
Okay.
Pediculosis capitis simplex,
Mm-hmm.
pediculosis stetoids, pedariasis. Well, I'm saying pediculosis, y'all. I'm thinking about that foot, Teresa. Uh, it's pedariasis capitis simplex, pedariasis stetoids, pedariasis itself, and melasenia, zezia. So, general term for any dandruff. That's an easy one. What do y'all think? What's another word for dandruff?
Pediatrisis?
Yes.
Pediatrisis?
Pedariasis. All right. Somebody, anybody, go with the next one. It says fungus that feeds on the scalp's oil and causes dandruff. Classic dandruff that can be treated with conditioners, shampoos, and lotions. Or severe dandruff characterized by greasy or waxy scales mixed with sebum. Mm, all right. Just saw this in the video. What do we think?
Fungus that feed on the scalp oil and use dandruff.
Say that one more time.
Fungus that feed on the scalp oil and cause dandruff.
Okay, which one is that? Is it pedariasis capitis simplex, pedariasis stetoids, or melasma?
Malassezia. Malassezia.
Okay, let's do that. All right, classic dandruff that can be treated with conditioners, shampoos, and lotions. What is it? Is it pedariasis capitis simplex or pedariasis stetoid? What do you think? Someone that has an answer. What do you think? You can choose either one of them. This is, remember, a quiz. We're learning. Are y'all in the chat or you unmuted? India, choose one. Tara, choose one.
I'm gonna take a guess. The second one, classic dandruff,
Okay.
probably the simplex.
Okay, there we go. And so we're gonna put pedariasis stetoids as the first one. All right, that's all we need. We're learning. Everyone's learning. And guess what? You are absolutely right. Good guess. Good guess. So now when you're studying these terms, guys, you have something to reference, all right? You don't always have to have the book definition, but in your mind, in your memory, you should be having, when you see that word, something should spark. Like, I know that word, you know? If I see the word dandruff, I know the technical term is pedariasis. Okay. When I see pedariasis stetoids, it is severe dandruff. All right. Greasy or waxy scales mixed with oil. Pedariasis capitis simplex. It can be treated with shampoos, conditioners, and lotions. And then the fungus would be malassezia. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. And you guys made 100. All right. Good job. Good job. Good job. Return to assessment. All right. So parasites. Okay. Parasites and bacteria quiz. We got 5. I'm going to read them. Condition caused by mites that lay eggs inside the skin. Oh, that was good. They're small and they burrow under the skin to lay eggs. Then you got cluster or boils, the technical term for a boil, infection or inflammation that presents as small red bumps or white head pimples, or the technical term for head lice. Okay, I was just saying the wrong word in the last little question. So that's a little key. Condition caused by mites that lay eggs inside the skin. What y'all think? The video said they're small. They lay eggs inside the skin. Come on now. What you think? They lay eggs inside the skin. If you don't do that one, do another one.
Is it the fourth word, pet? I know it means lice. Pediculasis.
But this one says technical term for head lice. So you said the
Oh,
fourth one mean lice?
yes.
Bam, we're going to take it up there. Technical term for head lice. Pediculosis capitis, okay?
Yes.
Furuncle, carbuncle, cluster of balls, or technical term for a ball. Condition caused by mites. This is another mite that lay eggs inside the skin. Where furuncle and carbuncle are about boils. All right. So the only 2 you got left is folliculitis or scabies.
Scabies is condition caused by mice that lay eggs.
There you go. Infection or inflammation that presents as red small bumps or white head pimples. We're going to use, because we only have this one left for that. But also I want to talk about that one. A lot of times when you see men who are scratching their beards a lot, they can't stop scratching their beards. A lot of times they have folliculitis. So they have something going on within the beard. And it sometimes could be caused by a buildup of oil, sweat, and dirt, but also using clippers that have not been sanitized and something that goes from one person to the next. So it could turn into an infection. When it turns into an infection, it could actually kill the follicle. Okay, so sometimes on men, when it kills the follicle, there's no hair there. So when they have a patchy beard or area that's patchy, they may have had folliculitis and it may have killed the hair in that area. So their beard disconnects. They lose hair in that particular area. Women could do the same thing. I see this a lot around the hairlines. I see it a lot around the hairlines. And a lot of times it deals with dirty combs, clippers, things of that nature. Dirty shampoo bowls, things of that nature. Technical term for a boil and cluster of boils. What are we going to do? We only got 2. Who taking a guess? I only need one guess. Where you want me to put it?
For technical term for a boil.
Bam. And then I'm going to put the hood right here. All right, let's go. Correct. Shout out Terry, a little genius over there. Go ahead, then. Go ahead. Good job, everybody. Good job. Technical term for head lice. You were correct, Teresa. And you said you knew this. You said because pediculosis capitis, you were familiar with the word. We said Teresa that gave this answer. the technical term for head lice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you say you were familiar with this word. It just looked like it was supposed to be right here.
Uh, I don't know why the word, that specific word, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So like heebie-jeebies, lice,
Okay, so when you see the term pediculosis, that definitely means hip. That means lice. And then when you see capitis, remember we saw it in dandruff, that means of the scalp, like baseball cap. So lice of the scalp. So you were right, head lice. Okay. Technical term for a boil, furuncle, and a cluster of them, furuncle. Okay. Um, Infection or inflammation that presents as small red bumps and white headed pimples. Yeah, it may also, they didn't say itching here, but definitely is itching. Okay, folliculitis. And then here's the thing too. There's Barber folliculitis. That's what I need to tell you. Barber folliculitis. And Barber folliculitis is not spelled like a barber, but it's spelled like that. Barbara, Barba, folliculitis. And so that tells you it's a folliculitis of the beard. Okay. Can we have folliculitis anywhere? We absolutely can. Y'all make sure you are not, and like if you know kids, people, when they're teenagers, they like to share clothing and stuff like that. I don't know about y'all, but my mom, it was a no-no. If she did not buy that piece of clothing, I was getting whipped. Because what was I doing with somebody else's clothes on? So we're learning about the different things. And then they just said ringworm, you know, from head to toe in the middle. So you really just really don't know. In some instances, it's just their environment. You can pick up these things from anywhere. Most of the time, it is within their environment. And so making sure your kids' hands are, and just a safety measure. Their hands are clean, they return home with the right jackets, the right clothing. Um, they only use their combs, and no one else is like really like, using combs and brushes. And then if you are at home styling, that you're using sanitary or infection control measures. So making sure the capes are clean, the towels are clean, anything that falls on the floor. This is a reason we don't pick it up and put it back in the head. Okay. And so just severe caution, because these scalp disorders and diseases could really last forever. It could stunt their growth. It could cause infection of the follicle. You could lose that hair root, lose that follicle, and hair will not grow back again. Okay. And then there's scabies, condition caused by mites that lay eggs inside the skin. And so they literally burrow under the skin. They want to get in the skin and get comfortable. And they got all the blood supply they need. So they're going to keep pumping eggs. Okay. And so it does feel like something crawling on you or under your skin. Many hairdressers, manicures, we get scabies, y'all, because we touch people. We are personal service workers, doctors, nurses. We get things like this, because we are personal service workers. This is why, even though pandemic has what they would say passed on, this is why we should wear gloves continuously. People just want to be serviced most of the time, and no pun to not putting anybody down, but your best interest and your family's best interest is not the first thing on their mind. They want their service. All right. And so they would come sit in your chair at your foot tub because they want their service, and that's all they want at that moment. So you have to use your precaution and protect yourself, because remember, you have little ones who are immune system may not be as strong as adults. And so you do not want to take this back home. You have to go cook. You have to do so much stuff. And I encourage you to continue to wear gloves, wear gloves, wear gloves, wear gloves. Protect yourself. Okay. Like I said, I have friends who are still in masks. And if it didn't irritate my face as much, I will be back in it this week. Okay. But wearing gloves is going to be key for everything. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay. And got 100 on that. All right. It says, congratulations on completing chapter 8, hair and scalp disorders and diseases. Now that you have completed this chapter, it's time to discuss with your classmates and your instructor what you have learned. Post at least 3 new things you learned in this chapter. All right. 3 new things you have learned. I want you to go to the chat and let's just talk about 3 things that we've learned. I'm going to ask you one thing that you've learned while we've been talking about the hair and scalp disorders. We got 4 students on. We should come up with enough things. 3 things you've earned. And then we need to move on to our homework. 3 things you have learned. Let's go into the chat. Everybody, I want to see everybody. Let's go into the chat. Go into the chat. I want response on the other end. Everybody, let's put in the chat as we close this chapter out, hair and scalp disorders and diseases. We had about 3 quizzes. I need you to give me something that you take away from this chapter. Hair and scalp disorders and diseases. Let's go. So no one learned anything? Is that my assessment? No one learned anything because I don't see anything in the chat. So with no one learning anything, it almost seems like we need to redo this again, because I'm gonna refuse to pass you forward if you don't know anything. So we'll be having evaluations on Monday because I don't like the lack of participation, and it will not be tolerated. Virtual is a part of your course, and if you're not going to participate on the other side, what's the point? I need to figure out what we're doing. Do you want to learn?
Miss Cox, Tara and I did comment in the box.
I see you and Tara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm reading it now. I'm a little hot on the collar, but I'm reading it. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. All right, yeah, that's good. Technical terms are similar to their meaning, yes. When men tend to scratch their beards, it could be because of the lack of cleaning their clippers. Absolutely. Boils and infection could also, yeah, have it on the scalp, appear on the scalp, yes. Okay. Thank you guys for the ones that participated. Let's go into our homework. And your homework was to go into IG. How many of you put it in the chat? Do you have your homework? You were supposed to go into IG. What's that? I don't know if I have the wrong course. I think that was lash and manicure. I'm about to give y'all homework or something. That is a whole nother course. But let's go into our review. Let's take a 5-minute break, get you some water, and come back, and I will have our slides pulled up. All right. I'm going to stop share. Let's go into our review. Be back here at 11:20. All right, guys. I find a video. Just let us pause for a minute, and I'm gonna show a video of an extreme scalp scratch. It relates to what we have going on. I just want to pull in some discussion before we close out the last 30 minutes. So let's come on in to the YouTube world. All right. This is extreme dandruff. What's the technical term for dandruff? Can somebody unmute? What's the technical term for dandruff? Spell it if you don't know how to say it.
Pityriasis?
There we go. Pityriasis, yes. Extreme pityriasis scratching and removal. This is ASMR. And let me just give you something. If you don't want to be on video, but you want to be on social media, you want to build content, there is an area for everybody. It is so many videos on people who are just ASMR, who are just listening. I guess this is a relaxing feeling listening to the scratching of the scalp. So, and remember, scratching of the scalp is not recommended. So let's just watch the video. Let's get a couple of minutes just to kind of hone in on some things, get a good refresh of our brain before we go back into our lesson. Look at that. Somebody could unmute. What do you think is going on? It's flaky. Wow. And they still consider it in condition. Is this, can we still treat him? Do you think shampoos and conditioners could help? What do you guys think? Oh, wow.
I do think shampoos and conditioners will help, but I don't think it would be safe or healthy to do a haircut, dyeing, things like that nature.
Yeah. On top of this, like let's get this treated first. So my formula that if I saw this, my formula I would use first would be taking like some clarifying shampoo, adding in sea breeze or some type of astringent, shaking that together and spraying this on the scalp. And I would let that sit on the scalp, maybe under a steamer for about 20 minutes. So what happened, I'm doing a detox of the pores and I am really treating the scalp. And what happens, this something like this stays away longer. It's not a cure for it, but it stays away longer. You don't see this accumulate that on a daily basis. He needs some water. Do you guys think oil is in this? Does this look oily or does it look dry?
It looks dry.
Okay.
Would it be ideal or okay with somebody with this condition would it be okay or ideal for somebody with this condition to get like an exfoliating treatment or no?
That's exactly the little concoction I gave you will be considered a deep condition. An exfoliating treatment would be amazing because we call it scalp scrub. And so you can take the scrubber that we use in facials and go throughout the scalp, you know, and what happens, it brings blood to the surface, and so the blood starts feeding. So pretty much certain things that may be causing the dryness, and it really looks dehydrated, like a lack of water. You're bringing in moisture and the nutrients up closer to the surface. So the high frequency one or the scrubber would be great. If you were talking about a scrub product, baking soda and water with a toothbrush, that would clear out the follicle. We would consider that deep cleaning. I would want to look at that. I would want to look more into it. Looks like the whole scalp is affected, the hairline. It may be one of the dermatitis. It may be in the dermatitis category, which means it could possibly be a skin condition. So it may go a little further um, than just dandruff, than just the basic. Because it looks like it covers the whole entire scalp. I would definitely do a detox, the scrub. Make sure my client is drinking plenty of water. And at this point, if it is a dermatitis issue, because I see it's basically covers, it may be something that may need to have like medication. So nothing topical, but something you would take internal.
Would we send them or recommend they see a trichologist or a dermatologist?
I would recommend a trichologist because the trichologist is the doctor that studies the scalp and the hair and its issues. And so, yeah, many times if they are recommended to a dermatologist, the dermatologist is just going to prescribe medicated shampoo. Honestly, the scrub that you're talking about and the mixing the shampoo with the astringent, those are medicated. That's what the doctor would prescribe, but we made that ourselves. What we gave them is stronger than what they're going to prescribe. So I think you should send them to a trichologist. I think you should send them to a trichologist. But that's just one. Um, and I want to say, and that's just dandruff. Um, and of course, like they have, they're trying to sell products and things like that. But I think if you're gonna build shampoos, you gotta know what it takes you deeper into ingredients. You should go deeper into ingredients as far as what helps prevent. Okay. And so I would really study more essential oils and herbs and try to formulate that into scalp, not just shampoos and conditioners, but scalp scrubs, lotions, which are like they call them scalp rinses, which are treatments. They're not color or anything, but it may be a liquid that you would put on the scalp as a treatment. So they, traditionally would call those a rinse, and it's not the color rinse; it is a treatment rinse. So it's something that was liquid that would sit on the hair, and then it would be treated. For me, I will put it on his hair and scalp, put a plastic cap over it, either put them under a traditional dryer or a steamer, okay, and let it work for about 20 to 30 minutes. What you'll end up seeing, you're going to see less of this. So even though this may accumulate every day, we kind of slow it down. It still will accumulate, but over a period of time. Um, I want to share with you this one trichologist.
And I know this is a little off topic, but earlier when you were speaking about like, say if somebody has some type of reaction in their beard, um,
Mhm.
Also, will we send them to a dermatologist, or would that be something that we can treat at the
And that,
salon?
yeah, I would send them to a dermatologist. Initially, I will send them to a dermatologist. And then also, let me find this lady real quick. Okay. Okay. Um, they can also be sent to a trichologist, but since it deals with the face, the skin, a dermatologist will be first to do the diagnosis. And based on what the dermatologist, recommended, I would then move to a trichologist if you don't see anything that has helped. And the only reason why I say dermatologist is because the barber hair is on the face, you know, and dermatologists really deal with the skin on the face. And so that would be my first set. Um, and this is Michelin Barber. Uh, I was trying to find, I think her name is Kay Greathouses. She's been training, no, it's a different Kay. I'm gonna find the lady. She's been traveling and training so many, and I know this particular lady right here personally, Miss Connie Judge. And so she has done a lot of training. I mean, I was 18 years old when this lady was teaching. This lady is still teaching. Okay. So she has the National Trichology Training Center.
That's gonna be you, Miss Cox.
That's gonna be me. Still teaching. But there are always events. Is this coming up in Atlanta? She said meet the medical doctors. No, they just had this August the 24th and 25th. So if you're on Facebook, follow this lady. And when they're having these conferences, they have a little bit of everybody come in. And when I tell you, if you specialize in hair and scalp, you're definitely it connects to different other parts of the body. And so this probably would have been is an amazing event. I may even try to go. I actually said that that's gonna be my next thing is going into um maybe going to school to do the doctorate of hair. I don't know. But we'll see. I'm still waxing. Let me get off waxing for a minute. But beautyandtrichology.com. So that is something. Follow this lady, Connie Judge. And many people be like, where did I find events? You got to follow the people who are creating history. And she's taught so many people and brought to awareness just a different thing about hair and scalp. Even if you watch her old videos, you'll learn so much. Okay. And here's one. She said, this is a free seminar right here. It was in Atlanta and it was Saturday, September the 21st. It was free.
Connie Judge, president of the National Trichology Training Institute, along with trichology experts and medical practitioners for a free hair-empowering seminar, Combating Hair Loss. Hosted by Representative Gloria Frazier at the Augusta Technical College Auditorium. The Hair Loss Epidemic Initiative is a free seminar that discusses the causes of female pattern baldness. Millions of women are losing their crowns and glory to female alopecia areata, scalp inflammation, traction alopecia, and other types of hair loss. Save the date, Saturday, September 21st at the Augusta Technical College in Augusta, Georgia. You must register to attend. To register, go to our website, www.ineedatrichologist.com. Beauty school students can register on-site with valid proof of ID. This is an event you don't want to miss. Register now.
Yeah, this was free. I would have been down there. We all would have been down there. But I am going to look for the next one because honestly, if you could build your wealth in education, no matter how many wigs and colors and styles that people want, at the end of the day, they also want healthy hair. They want healthy scalp. Okay. I may have to reach out to her and see if we can get a guest speaker, but this is definitely one that you should be watching. Okay, you should definitely be watching this. So I'm glad I went to Mitchell's page and saw Connie Judge. And that's it. Okay, and so that's our biggest thing. And if I was to go back up, let me see. We had a few more minutes. I'm just adamant about training today as far as I saw we stumbled over some terms. So I do want to make sure that we look at that again. Okay. I want to make sure that we are looking at that again. And I guess I lost my my page. And don't forget, you guys got so many resources that can help you with your terms. I'm gonna come in here and we're gonna close out just by doing some flashcards. So we're gonna close out today by doing some flashcards. Hold on one moment. All right, the last thing before we get ready to go, we're gonna go over some flashcards. I don't want you to give your technical definition the first thing that comes to mind when you see the word or hear the word. All right. The first thing comes to mind when you see the word or hear the word. We have to understand, everybody has to understand their learning style. And based on how you learn, I want you to have a conversation with me so I can start to adapt the lesson to how you learn. It's not how I teach it. It needs to be, because I could think I'm doing a wonderful job. But if you're not learning anything, I haven't done anything, you know? So I want you to discuss, take the time to understand and ask yourself, how do I learn? Like, what helps me better? And what, is the issue? Yeah, we do have a virtual component, but how do the mastery is building virtual component. The virtual component isn't going anywhere, it's going to be enriched. Okay, so how do you not get lost? And what are you doing outside of your school time that can also help you build? So we need to know what your study skills look like. How do you learn? What works best for you so we can start to adapt, especially since we're going into State Board Prep Wednesdays. We need to learn how to adapt. And as we adapt, we get to the end of that thing, you guys are going to be ready for it. Okay? It's going to be a no-brainer. So, pedicoriasis, stetoids, what do you think about? What do you think about? We know the first word means what? We saw this several times today. The first word means dandruff. So whenever you see pedicoriasis, you know that means dandruff. Stetoids, I want you to think about sticky, sebum, so it's now dry dandruff that mixes with oil that causes your dandruff to be waxy, sticky. Okay? Your book says severe case of dandruff characterized by accumulation of greasy or waxy scales mixed with sebum. Sebum is oil that stick to the scalp and crust. Okay. You have to have some revelation of what it means. Let's go to the next one. Hypertrichosis. We seen this today. Somebody break it down. Hypertrichosis. One word. What do you think about?
I know you said hyper means like many or
A lot.
yes.
Longer, thicker.
Ah, come with it, come with it. Boop, 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 boop. There we go, there we go. Good job, guys. Teamwork make the dream work. Condition of the hair growth where hair grows longer or thicker than usual. Yes. Good job. Tenia. Starts with an R.
Ringworm. Oh, I can't speak today. Ringworm.
Yes, you got it. Ringworm. Yes. Contagious. Ringworm, contagious condition caused by fungal infection. Y'all, you know it's a fungal infection. We had ringworm of the scalp called capitis, ringworm of the feet. Okay. What was that? Athlete's foot. And then in the middle, jock itch. All of that is a ringworm, a fungal infection. Itching, scales, and sometimes painful lesions. Okay. Scutula. Oh, remember? Scutula. Yellow. What else? I think of the word yellow.
Yellow crest.
Yeah. Boom. Dry sulfur yellow crust on the scalp. In Tina favosa, a Tina favis has distinctive odor. It smells. All right, it smells. It's associated with Tina favosa. Postpartum alopecia. Take it one word at a time. Postpartum mean what? Postpartum.
After birth.
After, yeah, after birth. Alopecia is what? Alopecia, am I growing hair or losing hair?
Losing.
All right. So postpartum alopecia could be the loss of hair after birth, after childbirth. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Temporary hair loss experienced after the conclusion of pregnancy. You're right. Good job. Scabies. Two words. Two words. Scabies. Itch. What? It's an itch. What?
That one was the eggs or something.
On top of the skin or under the skin?
Under.
Yeah, you're right. So scabies burrow under the skin. They're very small. You can't see them. They're very, very small. And they call them itch mites. Let's turn. Yes. Highly contagious condition caused by mites. Okay. Sclerotes that lay eggs inside the skin. You know, that video really helped break it down too. So go back and check that video. Good job. All right. You only think of one word when you see this word. Starts with a D.
Dandruff.
Yep. Pederitis equals dandruff. Technical term for dandruff. All right. You see this word, you only think of 1, 2 words. What does this mean?
Gray hair.
Or the Spanish. Can somebody give me the Spanish version?
Ghana.
Ghana. Yeah.
I know that one.
You know that one quick, don't you? Okay. Okay, first word was what? First word was hair what? Hair loss, right? Universalis. Let's see what that is. Loss of terminal hair on the body and scalp. So we didn't see that a lot, but we need to make sure, we reference that. So alopecia universalis, loss of terminal hair. Keyword terminal on the body and scalp. So terminal hair is long, has pigment, and is stronger. So no armpit hair, no jock hair, no scalp hair. Isn't that something? That's alopecia. All right. Pooja got this one. Last time, one word.
Dandruff.
Yeah, it is in there, but it's another, give me another one. It is dandruff,
Fungus.
but fungus. Yeah, associated with fungus. All right. And
Mhm.
lately, we've only seen fungus related to tinea, but this is the dandruff that turns into fungus. Okay. Uh-oh. Pediculosis. Somebody said, and capitis. Think Teresa had this in the quiz. Cap, are we talking head or feet? Capitis.
Head.
Head. So we know it's something of the scalp. What is pediculosis?
That's lice.
Head lice. Girl, you're so smart. You
That's the
are.
word that gives me heebie-jeebies.
Thank you. And now I'm gonna be like, yep, that's the one that gets Teresa Hickey. Okay, androgenetic alopecia. We know alopecia is hair what? LOSS, hair loss. Whenever you see alopecia, hair loss. But androgenetic is hair loss in women. So it in men it's called male pattern baldness. In women it's called androgenetic alopecia. Also known as androgenetic alopecia, hair loss characterized by the shrinking. I'm gonna say the shrinking instead of messing this word up of terminal hair in short anagen phase. It can affect anyone. It's caused by genetics, age, or hormonal changes. This also what I want you to take a look at. Androgenetic alopecia, you don't see complete hair loss. What you see is shrinking. Okay. Okay. The minimizing, the shrinking, which means the follicle shrinks at the top of the head and crown and also the sides. So the sides become thinner and then the top of their hair, their hair becomes thinner at the top because the follicles shrink. So we start off with all these follicles and all these hairs, and then they start to shrink down. Okay. And so this is sometimes, well, this is probably the primary reason that toppers are popular, where people just make the wig pieces just to cover the top of the head. That's those are called toppers. This is one of the reasons androgenetic alopecia. That's the shrinking. All right. Pediculosis, capitis simplex. Pediculosis represents a D word. What's that D word? Pederisis. I'm sorry. I'm on the EBGB word. Pederisis represents the D word. What's the D word?
Dandruff.
Dandruff. Capitis is the head or the feet. Which one is it?
Head.
Okay, so this is a condition, dandruff of the scalp, but it's the simplex. Let's see what it is. Technical term for basic dandruff, classic dandruff. Y'all, we can take care of this. It says with shampoos, conditioners, and lotions. So this will be definitely treatable in the salon. All right. We've been saying this is what? Hair what?
Hair loss.
Hair loss. All right. Hair loss. That's it. Tinea furvosa. We just saw this a little while ago. Tinea is what? Our word.
Ringworm.
Wingworm. Okay. Furvosa, associated with scutula, which is the dry yellow crust. Let's see what we got. Honeycomb ringworm, we did see that, and fungal infection, and there goes scutula. See how all of this just come together, but we have to study in order to see all the terms that are associated with each other. Hirsutis, okay, we've seen this before. I think we still have an issue defining what it is. Let's look at it. Growth of terminal hair on a woman's body in an area that would not typically have terminal hair, such as upper lip, which is mustache, chin, beard, cheeks, and chest. All right. So hirsutis is hair, terminal hair growing on a woman where usually you would not find hair. Okay. So typically women do not have hair as far as mustache. They don't grow a beard. They don't have sideburns and pork chops. And when I mean pork chops, that means the guys that have their sideburns that connect to the beard. So women will have hair that will come all the way down to their jawline. Okay. And so that's abnormal, especially if it has color to it and it's kind of long. That's abnormal. And then women having hair on the chest. That doesn't mean the person is abnormal. That means that they have a condition in their integumentary system that they just grow terminal hair in those areas. And it could be a side effect from a hormone, a reproductive issue, could be a cycle issue, could be an effect of medications, could be something that happens from having PCOS, could be any of that. Folliculitis, okay? The root word is follicle. So it's something that's going on within that follicle. Itching, red, small pimples, could be all over the body. But if it's on a male, it's called Barber folliculitis. Inflammation, that means redness or infection of the hair follicle. All right. So folliculitis, follicle. So it's an infection of the follicle. Signs of that, it's going to be itchy. It's going to be red. Okay. You can find this all over the body, or typically you find it on men's face, and that's called barber folliculitis. But if I just see somebody just itching and scratching on, and I'm trying to figure out, like, you all under your arms and your legs and scratching all different areas of the body, I want to know what's going on and where they come from. So just be mindful of people as well. You know, spend the night over people who don't, and you have clients that come in and, believe me, do not wash their linen. So if they're having some issues or you see things like that, because you're going to be doing their hair, you see it on their face, their necks, their backs, shoulders, anything that's visible, they may want to wash their linen more often. And as an esthetician, I tell my estheticians to tell their clients every Sunday is reset day. Reset day means makeup brushes cleaned, face towels cleaned, make sure your linen is washed and cleaned, pillowcases, all of that stuff, reset day, clean the mattresses, everything. And sometimes people got to be told about a routine because they've never been taught the routine. You're going to get a lot of people that's never been taught a hygiene routine, infection control routine. So I encourage estheticians, barbers, hairstylists to just ask your clients, when is their reset day? They don't know what that is. Explain that to them, because you guys are going to ask clients to, satin pillowcases and things like that. a lot of issues that's going on with their hair and scalp and sides of their face you don't see on another side, it's because they're probably laying on dirty linen. So you have to be very careful about that. And just, it may be a sticky place, but your clients will really appreciate you for just talking to them about it. Furuncle, we had furuncle and carbuncle. All right. Furuncle was what?
I believe boils.
There you go. And let me tell y'all, our job, our scope of practice is not bursting a boil. We ain't finna do that. And your client comes to you telling me it's a pimple, it's a bump. No. If you can take your hand around and you can feel how deep it is, no. That's out of your scope of practice. They need to go to a dermatologist. It is, let me turn it. It is a boil, yes. An acute localized bacterial infection, yes. No. We can't do it. Trichorexis nodosia. All right. Trick mean hair. Nodosia mean knots. What do you think this is? Trick means hair. Nodosa means knots. Nodular swellings along the hair shaft. Knotted hair. Does that make sense? I took the root word trichorexis. Whenever I see trich, Trich, I know that means hair. Whenever I see this, nodosia, I know it means knots. So this means knotted hair. We'll find out what rexis means later, but this means knotted hair. Is that a good way for you guys to understand this word when you see it again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just wondering. And it does mean knotted hair. Okay. So there we go. When you see that as a question, boom. Trich mean hair. Okay. So it's something with hair. Cotylosis. Let's see. Split ends. That's simple. Somebody gonna say, oh, you got a bad case of trichoptylosis. They be like, what? Girl, you got split ends. I mess with my family so much when I learned this word. Trichoptylosis means split ends. Okay. All right. Fragilistic cranium. All right. This is one we kind of got mistaken. Let's just go through it. Brittle hair. Wow. Long word for a short word. Brittle hair. That's it. Brittle hair. And brittle hair is dry and is about to break. Okay? Brittle hair. Ringed hair. Who can do this one? When you hear ringed hair now, what do you think? Somebody said, I think that was Tara that said a band. Tara
A
said
band of gray hair, I believe.
gray hair and what?
Um,
It's gray, then what? Gray, then
gray, white.
yeah. Yeah, it's gray then pigment, gray then pigment, gray then pigment.
Okay.
Go back. There, right. It is a form of Kanishis. Alternating bands of gray and pigmented hair. There you go. Good job. Manila threads. We already know what brittle hair is. What's manila threads? It's in the brittle hair family. What's manila threads? Let's turn. Beaded hair. Beads. So we had knotted hair, and manila threads is beaded hair. Melanin. What do you think of? First thing come to mind, melanin. Anybody? What's melanin? You've been here for at least 2 weeks. What's melanin? Who was here 2 weeks ago? When we started, melanin. Melanin is your pigment. Pigment in your hair, skin, and nails. Let's look. Tiny grains of pigment, okay, in the cortex that give natural color to the hair. Melanin. Melanin is pigment. Carbuncles. We said furuncle was a single boil, but carbuncles is what? It's a bad situation. It hurts too. I'm assuming it hurts. If furuncle is one boil, carbuncle is what? What do you think? It is a boil, but it is multiple, okay? It's a cluster. It's a cluster, and it's a staph infection of it says inflammation of the subcutaneous tissue. Y'all, this is inflammation, infection of fatty tissue. This is the tissue that give you your shape, your roundness to like the face and your body. So it really makes sense when you have this these boils and these cysts, they have to be cut out, and it gives you this dip in your skin. It's the infection of the fatty tissue that helps give you this curvature. You're going to have to add something called fillers in order to fill those gaps, okay? But yeah, this is inflammation, redness of the subcutaneous tissue, fatty tissue, caused by a staph infection, which can come from, in the salon, unclean implements, and it can transfer from one person to the next. All right. It's a cluster of boils, which are probably painful. Alopecia areata, hair loss. Or when I think of areata, round or irregular patches. Let's turn. Autoimmune disorder that causes the affected hair follicles to be attacked by the immune system. Usually begins with one or more small, round, smooth, bald patches on the scalp. That is correct. Also, alopecia areata can be triggered from stress. Last one, and we went over 12 o'clock. Alopecia totalis, okay? So we've learned about a couple of alopecias. Universalis is of the terminal hair all over the body. So no hair on the scalp, no hair on the private areas, no hair on the underarms. Alopecia areata, hair loss in patches, small round shapes, the immune system attacks. And then alopecia totalis, you think of total. Let's turn that. Totalis, total hair loss. Okay. Total loss of all terminal scalp hair. This is just scalp hair. All right. This is scalp hair. Alopecia totalis, total hair loss. But it's total hair loss of terminal hair on the scalp. Can they probably have little vellus or no little vellus hairs? Maybe, but terminal hair is a no-no. Okay, terminal hair is a no-no. They may have peach fuzz, maybe, but terminal hair is a no. All right. Good job, everybody. We're 27 out of 27. I want you guys to have an amazing weekend. We're going to be back in Monday, back in the building. Miss Anthony will be there. I will be there. We're back in the building. We will be Wednesday, every Wednesday, we will be picking up some state board prep. And Monday, we're going to go over this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this exam. So if you're in chapter 8, the exam is chapter 8. That's the only thing we didn't go over. Go over the exam. It may be 25 questions. We're going to do a review. All right. And then we're going to introduce over into the next chapter. We got to keep it moving. And we got some practicals we're going to introduce as well. So let's keep it moving, keep it moving. Y'all have a blessed and amazing day. I'm going to get on the phone with Apple and see how they can fix my phone. I'm still having those issues. Some calls I get, some I don't. Some texts I get, some I don't. But what I need you to do, if you want to reach me, email or just call me, maybe try 2 or 3 times. If I don't answer, usually I've been catching it on a couple of tries. Just give me a call. Okay. Y'all have a blessed one. Tonight I'll be on with the nail students. And so if you can't catch me, jump back on Zoom at 6 o'clock. Okay. Y'all have a blessed and amazing day. Until next time.